Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the 45 match. Week 27 is finally over. Lasted like 2 weeks, it felt like. We only talk about 3 of these matches. Here they are. We start off with City and United. Every time United are in a match with another Big Six side, I say something like United are going to be exposed. I think I said that word for word leading into this one. But it's a goalless draw usually. One more time I'm saying it. But I'm happy to simply be wrong for a different reason this time. City had 66% of the possession, took 23 shots, 6 of them on target. United took 8, also 6 of them on target. Much more productive. That's down to great counterattacking. They were just very, very fast and took advantage of City coming forward in numbers and leaving space. And it turns out that back line isn't all that great when it's running for its life. Kind of like what happens with United. But, you know, Rashford, Martial, James are really fast. Yeah. Like crazy, crazy quick. So can others, emulate what Solskjaer did? Or is this just kind of a one-time thing? Because this is, maybe I'm not giving Solskjaer tactical credit enough here, but he did it.
Yeah.
Like, they outplayed City.
I don't know.
Wan-Bissaka and Shaw had Mahrez and Sterling in their pockets.
I think this was a product of a rare day off from Man City. I would not expect this to be any consistent, serious issue. There are 11 points clear of Man United still. I would love there was a title race late in the season. I don't expect there to be one. It would be very surprising to me if they were able to come back. But I love this graphic it's just kind of a cool graphic with the devil, trident thing. And that's a huge run of form away from home for Man United. They are very, very good away from Old Trafford. I don't think that's too. I say the same thing with Liverpool and their dreadful home form right now. I don't take that too seriously because it's just empty stadiums. It's just a case of you have to drive somewhere and you play a game. It's like a training game pretty much. So I wouldn't take too much from that because most of those 22 are from the pandemic and with no fans pretty much. So it was a good match though. They sat back, they countered. I didn't expect them to have as much success as they did. And I mean, I think it's but
they pressed a lot.
They did actually. They did a very, very good job. I was surprised to see James play. He played very well. Wan-Bissaka was very good. It was just a great performance. There wasn't a bad performance from Man United. And when you have your forwards able to be productive like that, it just makes things that much easier. And I mean, they did get a pretty lucky lapse in judgment from Jesus to give you the early 1-0 advantage, which could have made the game very different. But I mean, it was just idiotic.
I don't know that it changed. Yeah, I don't think it changed what Solskjaer was going to do. It just reinforced. He's like, now we got to keep doing what we do, which is play back, press a little bit maybe, and get him on the counter.
Exactly.
But he's got to do it more often. He had a lot of lackluster performances the last couple of weeks, and he hasn't done it against the other Big Six sides.
Issue is he hasn't gotten that kind of production from the forwards. And I think the penalty was actually a huge deal just because it allowed them to have less pressure. You were already 1-0 up, and you're like, okay, now they have to come to us. There's going to be more space immediately opened up. So I'm still skeptical. I'm still going to say 0-0s in their next Big Six matches. But I'm glad that they made some serious strides in their big match performance.
Solskjaer now 4-3 against Guardiola. Interesting. City remain 11 points clear to your point earlier of United at the top of the table. Will host Southampton on Wednesday. They trying to catch up on matches, it looks like. Although they have 28 played. I guess Southampton don't.
All caught up. I believe it's because actually there's going to be a Carabao Cup final against Spurs in the couple weeks from now. It'll be on a weekend. So I think that's what they're trying to make up for.
Oh, so they're trying to get ahead. Well, Southampton are behind on games, right? They're one in hand.
Yeah.
So this will be it for them. And then City are ahead of their game on hand. United second on 54, 1 ahead of Leicester, 3 ahead of Chelsea. They host West Ham on Sunday in what looks to be a really interesting matchup at this point of the season. Not a Big Six tie, but Moyes certainly has this team playing in the Big Six right now. Next up, Chelsea and Everton. We talked about the importance of 2 players for Chelsea in the build-up to this one. Mason Mount and N'Golo Kante. And guess what? Mason Mount makes way for Kai Havertz, who scores the opener at the hour mark and then draws the penalty for the final goal. Meanwhile, N'Golo Kante also rotated out in favor of Kovacic, who partnered Jorginho, and they looked really good together. So what do we know? This Tuchel fellow, he's really quite the manager. He's still undefeated now in 11. 2 goals conceded. And as Everton,
Yeah.
Ancelotti, as he said it's no tragedy. They're just not good enough yet.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'm not sure if it was given to Havertz as the first goal. I think it might have been an own goal, actually. But
yeah, it was a deflection.
It would be unfortunate if that was taken away from him because he's made serious improvements under Tuchel, and this is his best performance in a Chelsea shirt. And it was not against a team that was poor, but, I mean, Everton just did not create much. I mean, look at the expected goals, 2.83 to 0.3 expected goals. You're not winning a match like that. I'm sorry. You're not, especially against this Chelsea side. They created far too much. They broke down the dam twice. And Chelsea looked good defensively, man. I mean, you wonder, this team, if they had Tuchel at the beginning of the year, no disrespect to Frank Lampard, but he's not even a tenth of the manager that Tuchel is right now. Can that change in the future? Of course, but, I mean, he is phenomenal at getting his side organized and very quickly, too. So, already next year, I have them as probably my number 2 team before any moves are made in the summer, behind Manchester City. So I'm fascinated to see where they go from here. Everton, meanwhile, this is kind of what we expected. Again, they kind of regressed back. Disappointing for them because they couldn't capitalize on Liverpool dropping points. Still only 3 ahead of them with the game in hand. But, I mean, fundamentally, Everton, if you can get a top 7 place, that's a phenomenal year. So your goal is just Liverpool and Villa are the 2 guys who realistically behind you could catch up for you in those top 7 places. So a bit of a disappointing performance. But if Spurs pass you at that point, then you're still top 7. So I'm not too concerned about them being like a serious rival in terms of you can't place above them. So you have to just be above 2 of Spurs, Liverpool, and Villa. So
I think West Ham are better than them too.
Then Everton.
Yeah, I think so.
We can get into that right now. Talk about West Ham.
Next up, West Ham, Leeds. Oh, hang on. One thing. Clean up. Chelsea, 4th on 50. They go to Leeds, as we're going to say here. Everton dropping to 6th on 46 points. Again, 1 point ahead of a rejuvenated Spurs side. They're going to face Burnley at Goodison on Saturday, so they're going to look to get healthy there. Although Burnley did eke out a good one on the weekend. West Ham, Leeds. So Leeds have 2 goals disallowed inside the first 10 minutes. Patrick Bamford misses 2 clear shots. Rafinha, Rodrigo, also missing opportunities. Lingard scores on a missed penalty or a saved penalty. It bounces right back to him. Then Craig Dawson gets a 3rd goal, nearly gets a 4th with the second header that went off the woodwork. These are 2 absolutely prototypical finds by David Moyes in the January window. Players overlooked by their clubs, kind of cast aside, and he finds value and draws the best out of them. Leeds certainly deserved more here, but this is good luck West Ham, bad luck Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue with Leeds, right? You accept these kind of results every time is you'll create opportunities in the form of 1.42 expected goals, but you also concede quite a lot, 2.47. I made a note. It's fascinating how they calculate expected goals in some situations because they counted, so there's about an 80% chance of a penalty being scored. It wasn't scored. It was saved. Lingard scored the rebound, which was a 0.67 expected opportunity.
So within 5 seconds, you get 1.4.
Exactly. Within 5 seconds, you get 1.47 XG. But the issue is you can't get 2 goals there. You can only get 1 goal. So the expected goals cannot be greater than the actual goals. So in my head, what the correct calculation is supposed to be, what are the probabilities of neither shot being made, and then the other alternative is one of them is made, which would be a 92% chance of happening. So XG having one of its rare downsides in my eyes, but West Ham were very good. I think they'll be very happy that they were able to kind of not dominate this, but they were able to convert their chances.
Yeah, they just got it done.
Leeds on set pieces need to improve. I cannot believe that Dawson was so wide open for that header for the goal. And a bit of misfortune, obviously, because you had the goal ruled out, another goal ruled out, and then the penalty, which then the rebound was scored. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, this is the price you pay for playing Leeds style of football. Is you've lost 4 of your last 5, but you'll win 3 of your next 5 because you allow a lot of opportunities, but you create a lot of opportunities. So it's just who shows up on the day, and I quite like that brand of football, honestly. So I'm not too disappointed if I'm Bielsa, and I'm also pretty measured if I'm Moyes. But again, you mentioned it, Lingard and Dawson, phenomenal gets, and I think Lingard has got potential to be Player of the Month for I forget if it was February this month. He's playing unbelievably. And I think that's just, he's got that talent in him, just hasn't been able to utilize it.
West Ham do move above Everton to 5th on 48 points, 2 clear of Chelsea, traveling, as we said earlier, to Old Trafford. Very interesting matchup. Leeds remain 11th on 35 with just 1 win against 4 losses in their last 5. They face Chelsea at Ellen Road on Saturday. So 5 of these 6 clubs just shuffle around and play one another, with the lone exception being City, right? Somebody else got left out. Everton is not in that mix. But the other 4 all just shuffling around, playing one another. Make an interesting top half of the table conversation heading into next weekend. That is Jack. I am Connor. This has been the Footy 5 with our Week 27 3-match look back. Please look for us on the Twitter at the Footy 5. Do comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe. Please do. Thank you. Take care. Have a good night.